the
Hair
whistle.
of the dog. Wet the whistle. That sounds like something a little different for me.
Potato.
Yeah, tomato, Mateo.
Shout out Mateo's Salsa for sponsoring this podcast. 'Cause we just had that energized us for this episode.
Yeah, little chip and salsa to get us going.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was just talking to Kyle about how I feel like I've been a lot less patient with things lately. I don't really know what's going on, but the pet peeves lately have been grinding my gears.
Right.
My pet peeves have been hit in every dimension, every aspect of life lately, and we said, you know what? Why?
Right.
Why does it have to be this way?
Why aren't people aware of these things?
Yeah.
Like more aware. I feel like we all have pet peeves and we all are aware of what tick us off, but like we should be more aware of what tick other people off as well.
Absolutely. So that's what we're going to get down to today. We're going to dig our hands in,
Get down to the nitty-gritty.
Nitty-gritty, put our toes in the mud.
Kind of let you guys know what we think are kind of some major pet peeves that kind of like are broad spectrum.
Yeah, so like a lot of unwritten rules that I think a lot of people need to be a lot more aware of.
Yeah, definitely avoid these at almost all costs. Like
Yeah.
I don't think there's one situation in the pet peeves we came up with that this is acceptable behavior.
Definitely not. And this is just going to help you in like every aspect of life with all of your relationships with basically anyone.
Right, yeah, this is not just
These are the little things. I'm not talking even like a professional environment. I'm talking your day to day with your friends, your best friends, your family members, anyone who you're involved with. This is going to ultimately improve your relationship with absolutely anyone.
right, for sure. 100%.
So why don't you start us off, Kyle, with a little...
Yeah, so I would say my biggest one when we were kind of like thinking and brainstorming like pet peeves, like what would be a good one to talk about. And I think this could definitely be in any scenario, like basically anytime you're eating, like chewing with your mouth open is a huge pet peeve of mine. Like chewing like a cow.
It is. Like, that is just the most unattractive. Like, the food, when it hits the table, looks amazing. But when it's like slush and slob in your mouth,
Right.
it actually doesn't look good anymore at
No.
all. So no one wants to look across the table on a date or at any point
Right. Yeah.
and see a bunch of chewed
You're just
food in your
mowing.
mouth
Right.
that is like honestly sometimes falling out.
Right.
Like, say it, don't spray it, Stacy.
Yes. Yeah. Keep the corn in your mouth.
Like, literally. No one wants to see this.
Right. Like I can see you eating, I can see you chewing, but once I start hearing the I'm like,
Seriously.
stop. Like you need to stop.
It's something that you can't unnotice.
It's the only thing I'm thinking of. It is the only thing I'm thinking about. Like you could have like the coolest fit on. Like you could be telling like the coolest story or like have the coolest ice on. And I'm just like, ew.
First of all, huge choking hazard.
Yeah. Right.
You're putting your life at risk.
Yeah.
Remember that.
So I know you're a risk taker, but to the extreme.
It's like we don't need to be this dangerous
Right,
at
yeah.
dinner.
Right.
Not
right.
at the table.
Right. I'm in a comfortable, like I'm at the 99. You don't need to be risking your life right now.
I don't need to see
Over
an
these chicken
ambulance
tenders.
pull out front
Yeah,
of the
right.
99
Right? This is
Yeah.
supposed to be a nice little get together, and right now I'm doing CPR on you.
because you decided to chew with your mouth open.
Yeah.
The noise, the sound. I want to say that I want to speak on behalf of the majority of human beings.
Mm.
I don't think anyone likes someone who chews and talks with their mouth open.
Right.
It's just not. If you're in a romantic setting, it's not attractive. It's not romantic.
Right.
If you
Business
are
setting, business.
business
dinner.
setting, definitely highly
Yeah.
unprofessional.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. Like if you're in a meeting and you have peanuts or almonds in your pocket and you start munching on them
right.
while this guy is up front giving his elevator pitch,
Yeah. And you're just.
and your boss can't even hear the pitch
Yeah.
because you ruined it with your peanuts flying left and right. Come on, man.
Yeah, you're full cow mode. It just it gives off. What is it? It gives off slob.
It gives off a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
If you're lacking self-awareness, that means maybe you're a little bit too much for people.
Mm.
You can be a little bit too much, and especially when it comes to having relationships with other people and being extroverted, you don't want to be too much.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and there's a fine line. And then at the end of the dinner, you guys split the bill, and the person's probably like, "Oh, I'm never gonna be eating with this person again. Now I have to hit him with Venmo." Or if you have to hit them with a Venmo, and this comes into our next point.
My biggest pet peeve is living beyond your limits.
Right.
What this means is if you hit me with a Venmo that says like $50.17, I'm not going to pay you that. I'm just
Right.
going to reject it, and I'm going to hit you back with a $51
Yeah.
Venmo because you're going to want to instant transfer that anyways.
Mhm.
You already did me a favor
Right. Exactly.
putting your card down for me. I'm not then going to pay you the exact amount. What it comes down to, I think, is when you Venmo request someone
Mm.
to the nearest cent, it looks cheap.
Yeah. And I think it's socially acceptable to just round it up if you really want to. You know, like I don't think anyone's gonna
Absolutely.
come at you and be like, "Bro, my steak was $17.20 and you rounded up to 18." Like, no one's gonna press you for that.
No one. And if they do, they are cheap.
Yeah, and then you're just never gonna do that again.
And that's what we mean. Live within your limits. Don't live beyond them. If you aren't capable of sending that extra 87 cents,
You shouldn't be going out to dinner.
then don't go out to dinner.
Right. Yeah, living within your limits. Like, I think there's a huge poser mentality right now of like trying to like be like that next it person. I feel like
Mhm.
you're trying to like social media. I guess is just fueling that fire of trying to be someone you're not,
Yup.
and that's where this problem comes in. Where people like once it's time to pay up, and that person doesn't. It's just like
It's awkward.
it makes it
It's a bit disrespectful almost.
right.
Because there's a lack of respect for how hard you work for your money,
Right.
and the fact that I just made you put your card down, and now I'm gonna give you to the nearest cent instead of giving you that whole dollar.
Right.
It's almost like if I respect you, I'm just gonna throw you that money because then I know for a fact that in the future you're willing to do that for me again, just as I'm
Mm.
willing to do that for you.
Right.
And there's kind of like a mutual respect in that moment where you're able to throw someone a few extra bucks
yeah.
if
right.
you can. Or even if you offer to pay for your friend's drink and you're like, you know what, I got it this time.
Yeah.
Then you know that there's going to be a next time. You should just be offering to Venmo someone before they have to ask. If I'm offering to drive on a road trip, or my friend is offering to drive me on a road trip, before even asking, I will quite literally let them know I will have $20, $30
Right.
in your pocket because you are driving me and I know that gas is expensive right now.
Yeah.
And that's just awareness.
Right.
Just offering goes a really long way.
Right, they can turn you down and be like, "Nah, dude, it's all good. Like, I'm already going there. Like, I'm just bringing you." And that's
Mhm.
cool. But like, if it's like a trip like, to go to Boston or something, like that's kind of like expected. I
Yeah.
guess. Right.
And if you don't offer that, or if I ask and then you quite literally deny it,
That's crazy.
that is crazy because I just drove you. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me.
Right.
There's two case scenarios. The good one is you offer or you just automatically throw some money to that person.
Mm.
That is the best case scenario.
Right.
The worst thing you can do is to not ever offer, and then when they ask, you can't afford it.
Right.
Because now you seem cheap, and now you know
You're
you never have a spot back in that car for the next time.
because you're
There
taking
won't be a
advantage of
next
that
time.
person.
You just really have to be aware of what people are doing for you. Like,
Right.
it's not a
Right.
huge deal. This person can deny the money, but at least you offered, and at least they know that it's there, and you're that type of person.
Yeah, and if this is like a close friend, like not financially stable, I mean, even if you're offering like $5 and they know like this is like really all this person has, it means a lot.
Mhm.
The thought that you tried to, contribute, I think is massive.
Absolutely. Like a lot of the times I will be like, no, it's totally fine.
Right.
I don't mind, but it is. It is the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Quite literally the thought that counts, because then I know that I can count on you for something that actually matters in the future.
Right. Dirty dishes in the sink is a huge pet peeve for me. Like
Absolutely.
like if you're leaving it for I could see a day. I think that's a good cushion where I'm not gonna get upset. Like you had a lot going on, like you made breakfast and like you're just going crazy. You know?
Yeah.
But like 24 hours, I feel like those need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're making that other person like have to clean your own stuff. And again, it's just like kind of take care of you got to be able to take care of yourself.
Definitely. And I think another point to go with the dirty dishes is if someone just cooked for you, definitely another self-awareness aspect would be to then go offer to do the dishes because they just prepared and cooked for you and they didn't need to do that.
Right.
So for someone to take care of you, it's like go back and take care of them because they just hooked you up. They did something nice for you. And I think that's honestly it's so small, but it goes a really long way. It's a mutual respect thing, and it forms a willingness to continue to do these things for one another in the future, which is going to build a relationship. It's going to strengthen a bond as opposed to the little things that build up and become a lot bigger than what it seems.
Right. And that's exactly what it does. They build up. You know, it's not like every time, like they're not going to call you out for every little thing, but it's going to bother them to the point where every small thing's going to tick them off and you guys are just butting heads.
And then that's just going to ultimately split up your relationship.
Yeah, and it makes a wicked toxic environment.
Right, exactly. And then they're just not going to want to have you around as much. They're going to call you like a mutual friend, but they're not going to call you close friend. They're not going to want to get closer with you. So if you're trying to make friends or build your friendship, it's the little things that count. Probably one of my largest pet peeves is when I make plans with someone. If you make plans with somebody and you know damn well you're not going to follow through on them, do not wait till the last second to cancel them.
Exactly.
Do not also ignore the text and phone calls and just ghost. That is one of my largest pet peeves. If we have plans, have respect for me by saying, I'm not going to make it.
It's worse waiting till the last second because then their night's ruined or whatever.
It is because they're probably planning their entire rest of their day or their night around what you're doing and where you're going to end up afterwards.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that I just planned all of this stuff, I put off doing this, I put off my responsibilities, anything like that, and said I'm going to do these later because I'm doing this now, and then I lose the opportunity to do those because I no longer have enough time or because I didn't arrange for them to happen because of the fact that you just blew me off. That is really going to put me over the edge.
Especially like if it's a night thing and you don't answer till the next morning. It's like, what happened, dude? You knew we were supposed to hang out. You knew we had plans, you know, stuff like that. We know stuff can pop up randomly, you know. It's not like, you know, I think people are understanding of that, but just the fact that you can't
let me know.
Yeah, it's just
that's so shady.
Yeah. That's
so shady.
Vibes.
That's a really bad vibe. And I will probably let this slide once. Maybe once. If it happens another time and you quite literally don't let me know and you have no excuse, just let it be known I'm not making plans anymore.
If it's my first time making plans with you and you do that, I'm probably never making plans with you again.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? I just can't trust
That's
you.
you just can't, you just don't even want to start the relationship with someone.
Right, yeah. You were just, that was like a sympathy invite, and then you were just like, oh, I actually don't want this person to come.
A sympathy invite, yeah. No, literally. Guys, this is such a bad vibe. This is such a bad look in every aspect. It's just so disrespectful. Just have respect for people's time.
Right, all right, Timothy, I didn't want to hang out with you anyways because you smell.
And on top of that, not washing your hands.
Oh, I know.
If you are in the bathroom and you do not wash your hands, oh my God. If I'm standing at the urinal and I hear a volcanic eruption in the stall next to me and I see you walk out of there with toilet paper stuck to your foot.
Yeah, right.
And you do not.
You're sweating. You have pit stains.
You're literally just pushed out a Nutty Buddy face full of tears. Like Britney Spears.
Right.
And you do not leave that bathroom with your hands smelling clean.
Yeah, right.
Still a little bit cold from the water.
Yeah.
Then that is seriously an issue.
Yeah, it's repulsive.
Personal hygiene issue that you need to consider.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you're going to go and shake my hand after the bathroom and you shake my hand and it's a little bit wet and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Honestly, respect, dude.
Yeah, I know
You just washed your hands.
But if it's like,
I don't really care.
if your hands are like warm and clammy, I'm like, I'm going into the bathroom and washing my own hands. Like I'm about to throw.
And like,
up,
I never
yo.
want to be put in
I
that
know.
situation.
What do you do?
We shake hands. It's like immediately in your head. It's like, really, really.
Buford, I know you didn't wash that hand, bro. You just contaminated mine.
It's like, really, dude.
Yeah.
And then you're literally like this.
Right.
And then you're like, you know what? I need to go change my pants now because I just rubbed my hand
yeah,
on it.
I just got your dookie on my pants.
Like, holy
Like, dude. And I know that person knows, too.
moly.
Like, that Buford knows, like, once he shook my hand, like, oh, he knows.
He
knows. I didn't
knows.
watch that.
And that is so incredibly awful, you guys.
Yeah.
That's like a violation.
Yeah.
Like, if I am sick the next day,
I'm getting
I
arrested for
know
assault.
why. It's literally, I know why I'm sick right now because you decided
To not wash your hands.
to be insanitary.
Take the, like, 45 seconds to wash your hands.
Seriously. And if I know you didn't wash hands and I don't say anything and then I see you get a burger and you're picking it up with your hands or you're eating your fries, your finger foods, oh my God, you might as well have stuck your thumb up your ass and sucked it.
Yeah.
I swear.
Honestly, we should start a trend where we just start exposing people on Instagram stories. Like, if I know you didn't wash your hands, I'm just going to post a picture and be like, this guy doesn't wash his hands. Like, we're just going to start calling people out for it.
I mean, absolutely.
Like, I
Should
think
we
we
just start a call-out culture?
Yeah,
But respectfully.
Of course. Of course. I'm not going to, like, tag your wife and kids. I'm just going to be like,
Just going to tag you.
yeah, I'm just going to tag you and you can
Like-
figure out how to hide it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or just wash your hands in the first place. You got nothing to worry about.
Kyle was talking about this poser culture that which kind of brings us into our final pet peeve of the episode.
Yeah.
The one-uppers. Person who literally listens to your entire story, but on the side, you're telling this
Yes.
awesome story, and they're clearly not listening. They're thinking
Right.
in their head, how can I make my story even better than this?
Yes.
And without saying another word, they're like, yeah, well, I did this.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's like,
and they over-exaggerate it, and half the time you're like, this isn't true. Like, I know there's no way
oh
you did
my
this.
God, that's the worst.
I-
The compulsive liars
Yes.
who you know they're lying.
Yes.
Oh my
It's
God.
the worst.
You guys, if you do this, people know.
Right. You
Like, no one's going to say anything to you, but they know, and it's so embarrassing.
because they are smart enough to, like, pick something where you can't, like, check them on it, like, be like, prove it. You know, some of them
Yeah.
are really good, but they're just so extravagant where you're just like, no shot, dude.
No shot. And it's like, I know you. I've known you for like 3 years. I don't believe that.
Yeah. Tiffany, you're trying to tell me that now you jumped out of a plane 3 years ago when I've known you for 5? Where did that story come from? Like,
Yeah, Tiff, I would have seen the IG post.
right.
I know
Yeah.
you're all over that.
Yeah. You're not just going to leave that in a box until, like, now at
Yeah.
12 o'clock at night when we just got back to the bar where you're trying to one-up me on my story.
Seriously. And that is poser culture.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is.
It gives me pick-me vibes.
It is pick me. Like, everyone knows this is not a new term.
Right.
No one wants a pick me. So don't be the pick me. Don't be the poser. Don't be the person who is trying to consistently be better than
Right.
the person in the room who's
Exactly.
got the mic. That kind of like wraps up our episode. So don't be that Tracy Turnblad.
That's our pet peeve special.
I washed my hands, don't worry.